Hello?
Hello, is this Bill Duke?
Yes, it is.
Hey, Mr. Duke, this is Dustin Wilmus from KMSU Radio. How you doing today?
Great. Thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate it.
No, it's my pleasure. It's an honor to be speaking with you.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you very much.
Well, let's talk a bit about your new autobiography you've got out here. Bill Duke, my 40-year career on screen and behind the camera. Can you tell the listeners a bit about the new book?
Well, it's got several layers to it. It's my story of my life from being a child, growing up during segregation, and until this day. It talks about my career also, and that journey, and also I try to put some nuggets of information that will help young people coming into the industry today based on the lessons that I learned. So it's got several layers to it.
Excellent. Yeah, I know you've done a lot of great work over your career, but as you mentioned, also a couple lows as well. So was it tough to go back and revisit that stuff and open up about it with the book?
It wasn't easy, but I thought it was necessary, to pass things on. And, I had no idea. It took me like 2 or 3 years to really get the book done. Writing a book is like you're by yourself, just writing about your life and, having to choose what's relevant and not, and editing it, So it's been a challenge, but I'm glad it turned out the way it did.
Yeah, I'm glad you decided to write it. I've been a big fan of yours since I was a kid, so it's great to hear a lot of these behind-the-scenes stories.
Thank you so much, my friend. I appreciate it.
Well, Bill, I got to ask you, your memories of making the film Commando. That was one of my all-time favorites.
Oh, great. Arnold Schwarzenegger, that was, Joel Silver auditioned for it and got it. And the thing about it was fun. Working with Arnold on both Commando and Predator was a joy because he's a consummate professional, kind, and really is a collaborator with other actors. And my favorite scene, of course, is the scene with the car. And when I drive through the window and saying the best thing about it is the price.
Yeah, I think the scene with you and the exchange with the Green Beret lines, that's got to be one of the greatest scenes in film history.
Yeah, we had fun, yeah. We had fun.
Well, of course, as you mentioned, you also worked with Arnold on Predator and also with our former governor here in Minnesota, Jesse Ventura.
Yeah, that was an amazing time because, not only we had come together as actors as a brotherhood, but, the conditions under which we worked were pretty severe. You probably heard this before from Jesse and others, but, the first couple of weeks we were shooting, the kid would put netting around the food tent, because you're in the middle of the jungle there. But the first week there were always bugs in the food, and we said, take this junk back, we're not eating it. But it was the only food we had, so by week 2 it was called protein. The bugs.
Yeah, I think with a role like that, it goes beyond acting to the point where you probably almost feel like you're lost in the jungle at times.
Well, you're up in the mountains of Puerto Vallarta. I mean, way up, we drove like 45 minutes up into the mountains every day and we shot, and it was like under conditions that were, I think Sonny Landon got bit by a scorpion and had to be taken to the hospital, and there were coral snakes and crawling on our bellies and with bugs, and it was a challenge, but it brought us together as as friends, and that's what helped us in the movie because the mourning of each of us, as each of us was taken out and killed, by the Predator, but it was a true friendship, and many of us remained friends long after the film.
And again, the new book, Bill Duke, My 40-Year Career on Screen and Behind the Camera, is out now. And Bill, I know you've obviously played a lot of different roles over your career, but did you feel at all maybe typecasted with roles like that, as like the heavy or the bad guy around that time?
Well, in those days when I first started, I'm 6'4.5", 6'5", and, big, tall, black guy. In those days we were seen as a threat and menacing, but I was very fortunate to get films like Car Wash and Predator also, which showed the human side of myself. And, I worked on a show called Palmerstown, USA, which was a show co-created by Norman Lear and Alex Haley at that time. So Alex Haley wrote Roots. And so, I had some great opportunities also in terms of not only, you're right, the bad guy roles, but I got some good guy roles also, so it was positive.
Well, and Bill, you're one of the few actors that really made that transition into producing and directing, and had a lot of success as well. So, I mean, you've done just about everything in front and behind the camera.
Well, it's been a privilege. I've been embraced by a number of people in the industry. Disney embraced me for Sister Act 2 and New Line for Deep Cover. And so, it's, I had to constantly prove myself. There were very few black directors in Hollywood when I came along. I was the first black director on Dallas, and when I drove up to the gate for pre-production to roll my window down, and the security guard looked at me and said, "Who are you delivering for?" Oh. So that's the kind of time it was.
Yeah. Well, again, the 40-year career, you've done so much. Is there something maybe left for you? Is there something you still want to try that you haven't had a chance to yet?
Well, I love acting, but directing is my passion, and there are documentaries that I want to direct, and feature films that, I really want to, work with certain actors. I've never worked with Denzel or Sam, and I work with great actors, Andy Garcia, and Tim Roth, and of course Lawrence Fishburne, Jeff Goldblum, and some wonderful people, but at this age still, there are dreams I still have, and I hope before I leave this planet I'll have time to really work with some people that I love,
Well, I know you do a lot of stuff outside of Hollywood as well. Can you tell the listeners a bit about the Duke Media Foundation and some of the work you do with them?
Well, thank you for that. The Duke Media Foundation, it's really created to help young people who are interested in our industry. Because many of them come in with passion, but without any understanding of the business or the paradigm shift in the business. So we teach two things. One, media literacy, which we've gone from TV and film to media, which is virtual reality, augmented reality, Hulu, Crackle, Netflix, Amazon, cell phone apps, the rest of that. We teach them, what those things are and how they're impacting the industry and the jobs behind them also. The second thing we teach is financial literacy. Because a lot of people were mostly taught how to spend money but not how to use it. And so we teach young people, what is the FDIC? What's the Federal Reserve? What is Wall Street? What's the stock market? What is saving? What is debt, compound interest, and credit? Because, you have to have an understanding that this is a business, and it's not always like a roller coaster ride. If you're prepared to survive those times when the roller coaster goes down. So we try to teach them both of those things. And so over the last few years, we've helped a lot of so many kids in the industry and working, so we're really proud of that.
Yeah, that's excellent. Of course, nowadays, a lot of stuff, as you mentioned, that you wouldn't have dreamed of when you first started out. And, a lot of people move out west and they want to be a big star, and they probably don't think of a lot of the stuff that you just mentioned.
Yeah, and I just, fascinating thing, before I'm working on a series right now, a recurring role on Black Lightning. It's a CW show that's on every week. And so I have a recurring role in it. But before this, I worked on a feature film with Steven Soderbergh, a great director, great person. He shot the entire film with 5 iPhone 8s, and there was no real lighting crew. He did it with mostly available light. And then if they did dolly shots, they rolled him around in a wheelchair. It was amazing. It was amazing.
Well, again, Bill, the new book I'm excited for, Bill Duke, My 40-Year Career on Screen and Behind the Camera. I know that's just out now, but is there anything else maybe we should be looking for you in, or something else coming up?
Well, yes, the Steven Soderbergh film comes out next year. It's called High Flying Bird. That's coming out, and I think it's on Netflix and theaters also, I think. And then I did a film called Mandy with Nicolas Cage. It's online, but also still in theaters to a certain extent. So, and I'm a couple of feature films I'm developing, and I have a children's book I'm trying to get out called The Journey, and a book of poetry I'm trying to put together. So there are a number of things I'm working on, and just working hard, and glad to be still working, man. I never want to stop. I just love the industry and what we do. I just love it.
Excellent. Again, it's great that you're doing so well, Bill. And again, I'm a huge fan, and it's been an honor speaking with you today.
You too, my friend. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
All right, you bet. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.